Hello everyone and welcome to today's live webinar where you will learn 4 ways you can customize your digital office with Dynamics 365 and AssureSign. My name is Jackson Burke and I'm the Content Marketing Specialist here at AssureSign. I won't take up too much of your time. I'm sure that you're beyond thrilled to get to the demo portion of today's webinar. If you'll lend me your ear for just a moment, I would like to highlight today's agenda and review some housekeeping items. Today's webinar is hosted by Michelle Cloninger, our Director of Sales and Marketing, and Anna McDonald, our Lead Account Executive. Michelle will first provide an overview of benefits in customizing your digital office. We will then hear from Anna, who will guide the demo portion of the webinar. Additionally, Anna will describe how her day-to-day processes are supported by our integration enhancements. Finally, we will be back with Michelle, who will recap specific customizations you can implement today. A few minutes will be provided at the end of this webinar for Q&A. Please feel free to submit your questions at any time during the webinar using the chat bar on the side. We will be answering your questions during that Q&A portion as time allows. As always, we will include a video and audio recording of today's presentation in a follow-up email for you to reference at a later point or to share with your coworkers and team members. Now, without further ado, I'll let Michelle take it away. Michelle?
Thanks, Jackson. And again, welcome to today's webinar, 4 ways to customize your digital office with Dynamics 365 and AssureSign. By now, it's the year 2017. Most companies typically have some sort of digital office that they use internally day-to-day to conduct business. And for most of us, it's Microsoft Dynamics 365. But are you using your digital office to ensure your team is running most efficiently? We decided to host this webinar today because, like most businesses, we had Dynamics 365 but realized that there were specific customizations we hadn't yet adopted that would allow us to go completely digital and in turn be more successful each day. So we want to start by sharing a few details of our journey, starting with the why of how we decided to customize our digital office and how we were able to complete our digital office with our Dynamics 365 e-signature integration, and then show you how our teams actually use these tools every day with a quick demo. Finally, we'll recap covering quick and easy takeaways that your team can implement today to help you start working more efficiently. We decided to include myself and Anna on today's webinar so that each of you can understand not only how these quick customizations can help to improve the lives of your AEs or reps, but also how it can make managing as a leader that much easier. So whether you're new to using Dynamics 365 or just looking for a way to take your digital office to the next level, we think you'll find some helpful takeaways. So let's get started. So I mentioned that many organizations implement tools like a CRM or a DMS company-wide for several reasons. I won't spend too much time here as most of these are pretty obvious, but I do want to highlight a few as this is the why behind why we and most companies decide to go digital. First is the ease of storage. Without having a central place for storing documents, offices can end up being extremely unorganized and thus inefficient. Unfortunately, sometimes losing documents altogether. And then there's the accessibility. Being able to find documents is important for many reasons, and also being able to access each other's documents is even more important. For example, what if someone is out sick, or worse, left the company altogether with documents from one of your largest accounts? Talk about a headache. And then there's the audit trail. Without keeping an audit trail, you have no record of specifically what happened with each transaction for future reference. And additionally, reducing overhead costs. If you're a large company that's been around for decades, you could even have a building space solely for the purpose of storing these cabinets filled with documents. So going digital can actually help you to reduce these unnecessary expenses. And then, of course, there's simplicity. So having a digital office makes doing business that much easier. You know where to store and find your documents, you know where to find specific account information, and you can even customize your journey to match the actual needs of your company, making everyday life easier. And then last but certainly not least is security. Being able to have this digital copy of your documents and audit trails for your process eases the mind of your top-level executives. They can guarantee that if anything were to happen to their physical space, they will always have this digital copy to refer to. So like we mentioned, this is not an entirely exhaustive list of reasons companies go digital, but certainly gives a good list of the top reasons why most businesses make the transition, including AssureSign. So who is AssureSign? Since 2008, AssureSign has been providing electronic signature solutions for medium and enterprise level customers. Our Dynamics 365 integration is extremely robust since we are also users of the CRM ourselves. So we've built it specifically with Microsoft Dynamics users in mind. But the best part about it all is that it allows users to manage documents within Dynamics as well as send these documents out for signature, completing that sales cycle, all without leaving the CRM, providing this complete digital office. Now, before we get to the exciting demo portion of the webinar, we want to take a quick fun poll. If you had to look around your office today, which picture would your office most likely relate to, or would you feel like you relate to most? Would it be slide A, which we know is this is from Milton from Office Space. His desk is pretty crowded, probably hard to find some of those important documents, I suspect. Or would it be slide B, the team from Star Trek? You don't have to answer, but if you'd like to participate, use the chat bar on the side. So again, we'll flip back. Do you most relate to slide A, Milton from Office Space, or slide B, the Star Trek team? Well, if you answered slide A, don't feel bad. That's how we felt too. Well, maybe not exactly, but you get the point. Before we had this digital complete office, we had a little streamlined process. So without customizing our Dynamics 365, there was no guarantee that each employee was performing the same task at each step. Some may have been done offline while some completed online. Also, we had tracking and analytics, but it was pretty inconvenient. While we used AssureSign and it was great and the information was actually located in our AssureSign solution, it wasn't in Dynamics, so it added steps to our process for our sales team. Also, there was just a little bit of a lack of transparency. There are places to record notes and things like that on the accounts within CRM, but it wasn't set up best for our team. So without establishing the centralized place, we weren't exactly sure where each person would hide those. And finally, the reporting. What reporting? If your office isn't set up specifically for how your team operates, this tends to be a much more manual and tedious process. So we decided to create an initiative from the top down to customize our Dynamics office to fit our specific needs according to how we actually operate and complete it with our integrated eSign solution. And voila. Well, this is how we felt anyway. So I'm sure you're thinking, this sounds great and all, but what does this look like? And really, how did we get there? So Anna's going to jump on and she's going to quickly show us her process from start to finish and just how easy it is. After that, I'll jump back on just to point out a few items that will be extremely beneficial in putting this all together. Anna?
Thank you, Michelle. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. So today I will be walking you along the process that we take each lead through in our customized Dynamics progression. For us, we have most inquiries start off as a lead or opportunity. And once we have identified that we are a good fit for their needs, we go ahead and qualify them, which automatically creates an account within Dynamics for the company. Now, as you'll notice on the screen, the next steps are illustrated in the green bar, including develop, demo, and close. As we speak more with the customer, we develop their needs and ultimately set up a demo to show them how we can satiate those needs. You'll also notice on the demo step that we have an optional sandbox or trial account, creating a sub-step that triggers off automatic emails to our support team for setup. Now, let's say the trial account has ended and the customer is ready to sign. Here is where our tool comes in to further streamline and customize your Dynamics experience. As we go to the account page, we can scroll down and find AssureSign-Documents section of the profile. This can be added to any entity, even custom ones. Underneath, we will be able to see any previous documents sent to this customer and the status of each one. To send out our new document, all we have to do is press the Add button, and here it will give us the option to select which template or document we want to send out for signature. Once we have selected the document, and you can also see that we do have the option to select a SharePoint storage, so if you're wanting that document when completed to go to a specific SharePoint folder, you can actually select that here as well. Now, when we click Next, we will see that it has actually populated information from the contact that is associated with this account. This is just a further example of how customizable the process really is. With the ability to create relationships between entities, you can pull data from one to send out to another. All of the data within each one of these fields are editable if change is needed. Additionally, we have the capability to send out documents to sign via SMS for a faster method to get it into your customer's hands. Now when we click Next, all we have to do to get the document out for signature is simply to push the Save button at the bottom. Now to show the completed process, let's switch roles and we will be the customer real quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my email. And we'll wait for that email to come in. Here we go. Now, as we can see right here, we can see that it has a specific message sent to us from a AssureSign demo account. Each one of these emails can be part of a custom email design set where you can actually choose different ones for different templates. Now, when we click on the link, you will notice that it populates us within a browser, which means that the signer can sign on any browser-capable device, including a phone, tablet, or a computer. What we will notice next on this page is how we follow suit with the Dynamics fashion of being able to customize. Here you can see our customization and branding with our logos and colors. Now on to step 2. This is where the signer is agreeing to sign electronically, which is just defined as a sound symbol or process. Another custom option that can be found is in the bottom left corner of the screen with our preview document. Here, the signer can preview the document before signing, and let's say, for instance, there is a discrepancy in the paperwork, such as you had previously agreed on 500, but this document says 700. They can go here and provide any questions or feedback, which will be sent directly to the sender in an email. They also have the option to decline signing, which would update the audit trail and also send an email to the originator of the document, letting them know the signer has declined. Yet again, these buttons are optional if they fit your use case. Now on to the third step, which is the signing process. So here we can see a few things. We will notice that we have drop blocks for a signature and a date, but we do have many other options as well. We have parameter prefills, which by using our two-way APIs and code for fields in Dynamics, you can pull information from fields and custom fields onto the document. Now, for example, you can see right here we actually have the account's name, the primary contact's name, and their email address applied. From there, you can even make it to where the customer can edit any of these fields. So let's say there's a home address and they have moved to a new one, so it doesn't match the one that is on this document. They can actually edit it in here, and whatever is sent in the completed document will actually update the home address field within Dynamics as well. Now, there are two different types of signatures that we do have here. The first one is going to be typed, where you would simply just type out your signature with a keyboard and then apply one of our 10 fonts to it. Written, which is exemplified here, is where you will use a finger or stylus on a touch screen or your mouse on a computer to manually write out your signature, giving it more of that authentic feel. I'll give you an example right there. Beautiful, I know. Now, for the date, we can have it time-stamped, auto-populated in multiple formats, or left as a blank text box. We also have options for checkboxes, drop-down lists, and fixed text. Now, an additional feature that you have available, if it is in your use case, is a signer attachment. If you ever need some type of documentation back from the signer, you can simply elect to utilize this tool, and before they are allowed to press the Finish button, a box will appear asking them to go find, let's say, a copy of their license, and giving the option to access their camera or gallery for uploading. This can be optional or required, and you can give multiple upload attempts as well. Now, when the document is finally completed, it is automatically set up to send the originator and all signers a copy of the completed document, which you have the ability to turn off these features. Another way in which you can find the completed document is going to be back within the CRM. You can easily either go right back to the section in the AssureSign documents, or if you have this pulled up, you can just refresh the status and history of this document details. Now in here we can find a little bit of information such as the completed document. So you can find it as a link right here, or we can also find it under notes, giving you a few options of where you can store your completed documents, as we know that if you store too much in notes, you don't have that much storage for there. So you have the option to be able to put it as a link as well. Another thing you'll notice under the document details is going to be the audit trail and document history, which will walk you through every step that the document has gone through. So let's say if you have 2 signers and you are waiting for the document to be completed, you can go and see who you need to hassle to get that done. Now, every document does have an expiration date that's set automatically to 31 days, but you do have the option to change it to your preference. And you also then have the option to set up automatic reminder emails so that you can make that annoying them to complete it automatic and not so much on your priority list. So you can set as many automatic reminder emails either even to the originator or to the signers of the documents. And just to be able to see a copy of the completed document. Now we do have also another feature if you're ever open to it. It is our certification feature where you can actually have a box go around each signature saying that it's electronically signed by AssureSign and also giving the IP address and timestamp of the signature and the specific job block code for this specific signature as well, which matches up to the completion report. Now, to always follow suit with customizing your process, you also have the option to set this up to have any if-then reminders, or I'm sorry, if-then mechanisms within the AssureSign portal. So for example, we do have some of our customers that when a document is completed, it will have it to where there is a checked off box back within the account of company XYZ. They'll have a box checked off on the specific document. For us ourselves, whenever a contract is completed, we have an automatic workflow within Dynamics that sends out emails to our support team and also to our payroll, letting them know that we do have a new customer and to start the process of opening that account for them. So just a few more ways in which you can customize that process. So as you can see, we have taken advantage of all that Dynamics has to offer and then some to make our processes more efficient and taking a lot of the load off of our team. Not only have we been able as a sales team to spend more time with the customers instead of on the back end, but also our managers now can simply just pull reports on our activity and returns, making those daily or weekly meetings less of a hassle. Back to you, Michelle.
Great, thanks Anna. So yes, as you all see or just saw, that was super easy, super convenient to use as well. And since Anna started the demo portion, I have seen a number of new attendees come in. So just a friendly reminder that if you do have any questions, please feel free to use the chat bar on this side and we will get to those at the very end of the session. But let's quickly talk about, or I want to quickly talk about the 4 main areas that we focus on to set ourselves up for success. So the first is customizing our business processes. The next is providing convenient signing options. Then providing or implementing tracking and analytics. And finally, configuring convenient document storage options. So the first I want to quickly touch on is customizing your business process. This is probably the most important part as it's foundational in getting your team to utilize their digital office. So when you customize your team's process, the goal is to provide everything that they need to be successful in one place. So you can customize your process within Dynamics to fit your current workflows. So Dynamics gives you these out-of-the-box processes similar to what's on the screen, but no business is one size fits all. So you want to set up this business process to match your sales cycle. So we actually configured ours to include a trial stage since that was an actual step in our sales process. Also, at every company has their own lingo and jargon or data that they need to collect from their customers that's pertinent to their sale. So creating custom entities to marry these needs will really help the employees know where to put this important data as well as what data is important to begin with. You can see examples below each stage on the screen. Finally, Dynamics also allows you to update your new customized workflow with your business's theme and colors that fit your brand. So for example, we could update our stages to reflect our orange and blue company brand colors. And following suit, you can also use AssureSign's email designs and branding standards to match your company when you send documents for signature via Dynamics 365. So just because you're sending documents through AssureSign within Dynamics doesn't mean that they need to look like they come from us or Microsoft. That would be like sending a paper contract or letter with a different company letterhead. So these options are all easy to update, all without using any code, and like you can see on the screen there. AssureSign also offers convenient options for sending documents that you can customize for your templates and workflows. So you can pre-configure or pre-map your documents that will allow you to send the document right from that custom entity while pulling any specific information like shown on the screen. So this pre-mapping actually avoids the manual process of your employees having to enter this information and in turn reduces errors that might occur. In addition, like Anna showed us for her accounts address portion, using AssureSign's webhooks, you can also pull in any information that the signer may have entered into that document back into Dynamics, again, eliminating these manual updates. So the next part is the ability to provide custom signing options. This again goes along with setting your team up for success. You need to decide what your current workflow is and how you can best mirror it when taking it digital. So for us, email made sense. It's where our customers mostly are and where we are all day too. But what if you don't communicate with clients via email? AssureSign actually allows you to provide signing options based on what your company actually needs. So like the ability to send documents for signature via SMS, or if your customers are at arm's length, you can take advantage of our in-person signing link that displays directly on their account, or utilize local sign, which allows you to mirror the pen to paper process of capturing your client's signature on a signature device. So now that you've customized, it's time to implement tracking analytics. Dynamics provides out-of-the-box dashboards for a number of analytics like shown on the screen, but you can also create custom dashboards depending on your specific needs so that you can easily manage and track your team's process at every step. This was huge for our team. It allowed them to walk in each day, understand their to-do list, and where they were within their metrics. I even created a master dashboard for myself so I don't have to pull reports. I also have the ability to see where we are in activities, so calls, emails, demos, even sales at any point of the day. I do want to take a note that we don't actually set these dashboards up for our clients, but we like to talk about them because you can actually incorporate them with AssureSign's tracking. So with AssureSign, we have the ability to track where a document is at each stage in the signing process. This is huge sales advantage for our customers and ourselves. So if we notice a client hasn't received their document, it lets us know where to follow up, or if they maybe remain on a certain page, we can check in to see if they had any questions about a specific item. The cool part is that you can actually combine these two. So by integrating our tracking into a fun dashboard within Dynamics, you can easily see where documents are at each stage. Finally, choosing a storing option to meet your needs. When you have a large team or just a lot of contracts or documents that are going out, document storage is extremely important for remaining organized. So we provided 3 easy ways to store your documents depending on your company's needs. So you can easily store them as attachments within Dynamics, save your data utilizing our SharePoint integration, or finally you can configure links to your documents for easy access. Any of these will help to be more organized and be a huge time saver. So that really concludes the 4 main areas that helped us to customize our digital office to be more productive and efficient. However, we wanted to share some tips that helped us to get to where we are today. So the first was really championing the change. This change works best from the top down. So find a champion within your team to take the initiative to promote this change either department or company-wide. But remember to be flexible or adaptable. Like most things, this requires trial and error. So since we've started, we've actually added steps and omitted steps, as well as added custom entities that we found helped our team to work more efficiently. So listen to your employees using the process on a daily basis. They'll know where the pain points are. Finally, stick to it. It's easy to update something, but make sure you and your team commit to this new process and make sure that you utilize Microsoft partners to further customize your process. So although not an exhaustive list, here are a number of our partners who have recently built integrations with both Dynamics and AssureSign to make it easier for our shared customers to implement and utilize in their digital office. So that pretty much wraps up today's webinar. Thank you very much for attending, and now I'll pass it back over to Jackson for a quick Q&A.
All right, great. Thank you, Anna and Michelle. We certainly covered a lot in the last 30 minutes, didn't we? So let's jump right into a few questions that we received throughout the presentation. It looks like the first question we received, what does the integration process look like if we want to implement the AssureSign-Dynamics eSign solution? That's a great question. Anna, you want to take that?
Yes. So we have actually already built an integration for Dynamics and CRM and 365. So the process is pretty simple. You just go on our support site and download. It takes about 5 minutes for the download. What really would probably take time on your end is if you're wanting to do any customization within Dynamics, setting up any workflows and anything of that nature. But getting AssureSign within the Dynamics realm is pretty simple and easy.
All right, super. Looks like we have another question. What are the various storage options that we can offer?
Great question as well. So we do have a few different storage options. One of those would be that we do actually have it where you can use a SaaS or on-premises. So if it's something where you guys are currently having a on-premises instance of Dynamics, you can actually have it to where you can use either our SaaS or on-premises. So that's quite a option there. And also we do integrate with SharePoint as well. So if you're wanting to keep all of your documents stored there, that is an option as well.
Super. And then it looks like we're also wanting to know what's the best way to get pricing or a quote from us?
Great question. So if you guys are looking for any information or any questions that you might not display here, feel free to reach out. I believe we have our information on, I believe, a slide, and also in our area for the e-signature. You can find myself or Michelle or Jackson to reach out, and we'd be happy to help you out with those answers.
All right, super. And then as of now, it looks like we have one last question, and then it looks like we do have a few more minutes. So if you thought of anything, if any of those questions prompted you to think of anything, feel free to utilize the chat bar on the side there. But it looks like for now, one of the last questions we have is, have you done this with any documents in Dynamics 365 for operation? It's a great question. Anna, you want to address that?
So I'll take that one, Jackson. So we are compatible for any Dynamics 365 or CRM, so it's not specific to any one department.
All right, super. Hope that was helpful in answering that question for you. It looks like, let me recheck the chat here just to see if we got anything in between now and our last question. Nope, it does not look like it. So it looks like those are all the questions that we do have for today. Feel free to reach out to us later on in the Innovation Expo if you think of anything else by visiting our booth. But we do hope that you all found today's webinar to be extremely helpful and informative. Look out for follow-up emails with the recording link. And again, thank you guys all for attending today. We appreciate you being here. All right, thanks so much for attending. We hope you guys enjoy the rest of the Innovation Expo. Take care. That concludes today's webinar. Bye-bye.